Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's virtual event, Dynamics 365 Human Resources app for Microsoft Teams. My name is Evan, and I'll be your moderator today. We are broadcasting this web conference through Teams live events, and the audio can be heard through your device speakers. This session is being recorded on behalf of the Microsoft Corporation, and by participating in the session using Microsoft Teams, your name, email address, phone number, and/or title may be viewable by other session participants. If you do not consent to being a part of a recorded session, please disconnect at this time. Attendees may access the recording of today's session via the same registration link that was used to attend today's live broadcast. If you have questions for the presenters or need support, please use the Q&A panel located on the right side of your screen. Our presenters will be responding to your questions throughout the event in the Q&A panel, and we will have some time at the end to speak to any questions as well. Thank you for your patience during these announcements. Now let's get started. Presenting for us today from Microsoft, we have Harsh Srivastava, Senior Program Manager. Harsh, over to you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Evan. Good morning, everyone. Today we are presenting our session on Dynamics 365 Human Resources app for Microsoft Teams. With me today, I also have Tina Biradar, who's a Senior Software Engineering Manager on our team today, who will be helping co-present and moderate the session, looking at the questions coming through you guys. Let's get started here. We have a pretty packed agenda today. So the first thing we're going to go into is we'll be looking at what was the vision behind us developing this application. The next we will dive into is understanding how to install this application and how to configure it to the right environment settings. We'll also take a deep dive into what are the capabilities of our app today, and then go through an end-to-end demo. To wrap it up, we'll go through a few frequently asked questions, what's the roadmap looking like, and any more information that we have regarding this webinar and the other webinars in the series as well. So with that, I'll go into the vision here. What was the vision behind us developing this app? And as it goes with our fundamental principle here at Dynamics 365 Human Resources team, we want to transform the employee experience. And one of the core parts of that vision really goes as we need to meet employees where they are in their line of work, and we need to make sure we enable them to complete their most critical tasks with ease without having to go through different tools. You would know today in a lot of customers' organization today, they have a variety of tools for different kinds of HR tasks that an employee needs to complete. And an employee often struggles to kind of go back and forth between different tools. So we need to make sure where the employees are and kind of go and meet them there and have them complete the task over there. And looking at a couple of factors over here, when we looked at the telemetry, submitting a leave request was one of the top scenarios that we see in our app telemetry on how folks use our app. So it was a very obvious point for us to start with leave requests as the number one capability. Why Microsoft Teams? Microsoft Teams is our newest collaboration tool, which we see a tremendous adoption for across all our customers. Hence, this was a perfect combination of building an app for Microsoft Teams with a leave request and approval capability. And hence, we kind of started on the journey a few months back. To install the app, you can find the app in the Microsoft Teams App Store under the name Dynamics 365 Human Resources. Once you're on the App Store page, you can simply click Add on that app icon and be able to install the app to your Teams instance. You can launch the app from a left panel in Microsoft Teams, or you can also find the list of apps in your installed apps for your Microsoft Teams. Once you have configured the app, we need to be very cautious about this one. Like today, the app is available in public preview mode. What it means is today you can play with this app end to end and connect it only with the sandbox environments because it's a public preview app at this point in time. Once you sign into the app with your AAD credentials, you can choose the environment you would like to connect to, and you can have any node connected over there. In order to also enable Teams app notifications, you can enable notifications in two different steps. One, as the system administrator, you can enable notification for the Teams app via the system configuration and the system parameters option. Once that is enabled, every user also gets an option to control whether or not they want to see the notifications under their own user options. So both as an administrator as well as a single user, you get to control notifications at both the levels over there. Secondly, in order to view the team calendar, we have in our feature management a preview feature known as leave and absence calendar in Teams. And this can be enabled via feature management experience by administrators in our Dynamics 365 Human Resources app to kind of turn on this feature for all the managers in the organization. Next, I'll talk about the app in terms of what are the high-level capabilities of the app. So we can divide our app in 4 different parts today. We have the Chats tab. Chats tab is where you can interact with the bot either via messages or via textual conversation and kind of just get quick answers to what could be a leave balance. You want to submit a quick leave request, or you want to approve a pending leave request from one of your employees. Then comes the time of tab. Time of tab is the detailed place where employees can look at all the leave balances for different leave types, the amount of leave requests they have taken so far, what's the current balance. They can also view what their upcoming approved leaves are, and also take a look at what their pending leave requests or draft leave requests look like. We have additional capability in the time of tab available for managers. Managers can use the team calendar under the time of tab to view what is the team's availability looking like once they kind of look at different leave requests coming in from the direct reports. The next comes the settings tab. Settings tab is where you can do a couple of things. One, you want to ensure you're connected to the right environment. So in case your tenant has multiple environments, you can choose back and forth which environment you want the app to connect to. And secondly, in case you do use multiple credentials, you can also switch accounts via this tab. Lastly is the About tab, is where you will find all the information about our app and also the links to our privacy documentation and the terms of use. So we'll in the upcoming slides, what we'll do is we'll dive deep into each part of the app and see what the experience looks like, and then we'll head into a demo. And I'd encourage, in case you guys have questions, please use the Q&A in your team screens, and please keep on putting questions there. Tina would be looking at them. The first thing we're looking over here is viewing a leave balance. And this is the screen where an employee or a user can come on this screen and kind of type in messages like view my leave balance, or type in even a more specific request like what is my vacation balance. So in both these cases, what the system does is it queries your Dynamics 365 human resources system behind the scenes and kind of responds back with either the list of all the leave types that are available to you and what's the specific balance as of this moment for those leave types. Or you can be even more specific when you're asking about a specific leave type. You would get to see the information, like in this example over here that you see on the screen, is what's the balance, how much you have taken, and the overall numbers like that. Next comes submitting a leave request. And here also we wanted to make sure employees can quickly submit a leave request without having to go through a ton of forms. So in this case, I might just want to take a quick time off, and what the system would do in this case is ask you a couple of questions. One, it would ask you what's the leave type you are trying to use. You might want to take sick leave off, or you want to take vacation time off. And then it just asks you what are the start and the end dates for your leave request. You can choose to add a comment, an optional comment over there for your leave requester to view, and simply submit the request or save request for maybe editing the draft request later. So this is where you can maybe choose the prompts in a couple of different ways. You can keep it as generic as take time off, which will give you the list of leave types first and then take you to your date selection. Or you can be even more specific as I want to take vacation leave next Wednesday. What it will do is it will automatically populate the conversation card where it knows you're trying to take the vacation or the time off with the leave plan type of vacation. And by next Wednesday, it understands the context of what's the date next Wednesday, and it can pre-populate the dates over there as well. We need to be careful when a leave request is submitted via the chats experience. The leave is submitted for the entire work day. So in case my work day over here in the example that you see on the screen was February 3rd, and in case my work hours are defined as 8 hours or 12 hours, when I submit my leave request via the chats tab, the leave request is submitted for the entire duration of that workday, which could be 8 hours or 12 hours, depending on how it's configured. Next, we go into reviewing a leave request. So as an employee, I have gone through the chats experience. I have submitted a leave, which goes into the next level, which is the approval phase. Now, this is where I would say either the manager or depending on how your leave approval workflow is configured in Dynamics 365 Human Resources, depending on that, that user will get a notification in their team's instance that an employee is requesting a leave. They can see a few pieces here. They can see who's the employee who's submitting the leave, what kind of a leave type they're planning to take, what are the days, and if any note was accompanied the time of leave request, they can view that as well. Over here, they can quickly choose approve or deny, like two very quick action buttons, and just be able to click them, add an optional comment, and you can simply send the leave request, approve the take action on the leave request within a few seconds from this experience right here. But before, as a manager, in case I'm approving a leave request, I also want to ensure, actually, we'll come to that part later. Let's talk a little bit more about the time off experience. As we discussed before, the chats type quickly tells you summarized answers in terms of leave balances and submitting a leave request. In the time of experience, we give you the detailed view of where you stand as the employee for your leave ecosystem in terms of all the leave plans that's available to you, their balances, any upcoming leave request I'm sorry, you may have coming up, and what are the different leave requests you have submitted. You also see a draft tab over there, which we'll talk about in a few seconds. The time of tab is available to all users who have access to this Teams app. About a draft leave request, under the time off tab, you see two sections, all time off, which shows you all leave requests that have been submitted by this employee. You also see a drafts tab, which basically says I was starting to create a few leave requests. I have not submitted them yet, but I can kind of always revisit them later, change dates on them, and then go ahead as needed. So from this editing experience, this is a more detailed view where an employee can do a bunch of things over here. They can add more dates, they can remove existing dates, so they can remove certain days from the pending leave request. They can also change the leave type on the dates that you're requesting. You can add attachments, and in case your leave plan type mandates a reason code, you can select a reason code as well before you submit this draft leave request back to the user. So this view is really helpful in case you have a bunch of components, you want to mix and match different kinds of leave requests or leave plan types, you can use this experience. Another thing to note over here, unlike the chats experience, when you submit a leave, it goes for the entire workday duration. In the time of request experience, employees can actually request partial leave. Suppose I only want to take half a day vacation on February 3rd, for example, I can specify here I only need 4 hours of leave. So that kind of differentiate how the chat experience works today from the time of leave request experience. Here's an important view for the managers. And this tab called the Team Calendar tab under the time of tab is really available to all managers with direct reports and users with a manager role. This is equivalent of what we have as the manager calendar in our Dynamics 365 Human Resources view. What it tells you is what amongst all my direct reports, and in the calendar view, it says which employees have leaves coming up. Either they have an approved leave request in the coming few days, or they have a pending leave request I might want to revisit. This kind of helps you understand in case a new leave request comes in, like in this case, a new request came in and I want to make sure my team has enough coverage on those days before I approve a leave request. I just want to ensure things won't fall under. I can just look at this team calendar view to make sure I have other people available. And based on this view, I can go back to my chats tab and just be able to quickly approve a leave request coming in. So this kind of helps the managers greatly in terms of understanding where the team stands, who have leaves coming up. And you can also change this view either based on weeks or months so that you have a more granular or a higher level view in terms of who's taking leaves when. Last part of the experience comes in when a leave request is approved or denied, for example. So in this example, the leave request was approved. The employee who submitted the leave request gets a notification via the Teams app, along with a note from the approver that the request was approved. Now, this takes a few seconds for the processing to happen, but in the same place, employees, and our assumption is employees are in Microsoft Teams. They're kind of collaborating with their peers, doing whatever else they might be doing. They don't have to leave the system or go check their email, do anything else. As soon as the leave request is approved, within their Microsoft Teams experience, we will notify them that the leave request was approved. Now, for example, it's possible that the employee might also want to share this approved leave request with one of their peers. What they can do is, in this case, they can start a chat with one of their peers in this case, and you will see a small Dynamics 365 human resources icon just below the chat box. As soon as you click the chat box, you will be seeing a list of all the approved leave requests that you have, and you can simply select any one of them and send it as a message card to your peers. This way you can easily, quickly share leave requests with your peers over a Teams conversation as well. And I see that there are a lot of questions coming in. Please keep them coming in. Now we'll jump into our demo experience. The first thing I will show over here is how do we install the app. So this is a Microsoft Teams App Store today. In this one, I will search Dynamics 365 Human Resources. And this is the app that you see over here. You can click Add, and it will add the app into your Teams experience. I don't want to be using this tenant, so I will now flip over into one of my other employees over here. So today the demo, I'll be taking you through two employees. My employee is called Abigail, and my manager for Abigail is Hilda in this example. The first thing I want to show over here is how to configure the app correctly. So the first thing you want to do is go into system administration once the app is installed. Look at links and system parameters. This is where the first piece of notifications is enabled. This is being enabled for the entire environment in this case. This is where you want to say that users can be sent notifications into their Teams app, and you want to ensure that this notification is enabled under system parameters as well. The second bit of this action comes under user options. For notifications, I can go to user options and workflow settings. Under workflow, you will see another similar configuration which says enable notifications for my Teams app. And this particular configuration is happening at the user level next. Next bit, the last bit of configuration over here is feature management. So I can go into my feature management experience and look for this feature which says leave and absence calendar in Teams. And you can enable this feature as well. This is the feature which enables managers to be able to view their team calendars in Microsoft Teams. So once all the setup is done, your Teams experience is pretty much ready for your employees and managers to use end to end. The first bit I will do is I'm in the Teams experience right now as my employee Abigail. The first commands I can do is just show me my balances today. And I want to see what my leave balances look like. Might take a few seconds for the question and the answers to kind of come back from our system here. And as always, we are doing a live demo, so I'm hoping everything goes well. And we see this is what the system responds. I have a bunch of leave types assigned to me, and these are the balances for each leave type. I want to be more specific. What is my vacation balance? In this case, the system is able to kind of contextually understand. I want to understand my leave type called vacation. What is the specific balance for that? And it says my exact vacation balance is about 242 hours. Amazing. The next thing I want to do as an employee is I want to submit a take time off request. So I can say take time off. And this one actually takes us through the two-step experience where first it'll ask me what is the leave type I'm trying to take over here. So let's say I want to submit two different kinds of requests right now. I want to show you how we can directly submit a leave request. So in this case, I will say I might want to take vacation in the summer sometime. So let's say I selected the leave type called vacation over here. I can simply kind of click on these conversation cards and select my options accordingly. So it is not preparing a conversation card with the leave type called vacation. Sorry for that error over there. I think it should come up next. There you go. And I want to probably, let's say, take some time off end of April. And road tripping with friends. I can review this request. The request looks good to me. It's a vacation type. I have those 3 days of request I want to take, and I can submit the request right away. And this is processing my entire leave request. I'm going to submit it over to the leave approver, which in this case is my manager. The next bit I want to do once this leave request goes through, there you go, it's submitted, and I will get another message card confirming it was submitted. Great. The next thing I want to do is I woke up with a bad throat, for example, and I can simply say, I want to take sick leave today. This message contains two important parts. It says sick leave, which means the vacation, the leave type I'm trying to take is the sick leave. And today kind of tells the system what's the date you're trying to take it for. So in this case, like you see, it's already prepared a conversation card for me which says sick leave type. And today's date is January 27, so it's already selected that. I'm not ready to submit it yet. What I can do in this case is I will just save it as draft for now. And I can show you how we can kind of use our time of experience as well for a more detailed view. So as an employee, what you see over here is being in the chat. I'm just trying to. I need to just make sure the fields are filled in, and then I can save it as draft. So as the employee, what you can see over here is you're able to just quickly talk to the system over here, view your leave balances, and also be able to submit your leave requests. Let's go to the time off tab right now. In the time off tab, you will see all the details about the different leave types that are available to me. What are my upcoming approved leave requests? These are all the leave requests that I have submitted in the past. What's the current status? Have they been approved? Is something still pending? So over here, you will see this is a leave request where I had just submitted for the approval like a few minutes back. And you see these were the dates I had submitted and the current status says in review. I just saved a draft leave request as well. And this is at the top, you will see I'm trying to take leave on Wednesday, Jan 27th. And this is where I can see this was my draft leave request for sick leave that I was trying to take today. All my information that I had put in there is still kind of carried over here. I can see the reason code. I might want to change it. Taking care of a sick child. And I can also add, let's say I don't think he might recover today, so I can also add a couple of more days of leave here itself. Let's say tomorrow I plan to work from home for 4 hours and take 4 hours off. The same thing on Friday, I can change my leave request here. Let's just say, just for precaution's sake, I want to ensure I add on Feb 1st, I'll just say this one I want to take as a vacation. So as you can see, you can combine different kinds of leave requests or leave types over here. And for the leave types that you have added, you can kind of see them over here. You also see different balances depending on the leave request and the amount you have put in. You can see how is the balance changing based on what you have added over here. So I can go ahead, submit my request right away from this view here. It'll take a second here, and there you go. The leave request has been submitted, and you will see that it has moved away from my draft tab. And in my submitted leave request, you will see there are a couple of leave requests pending here. So let's flip over to our manager view next. As the manager, you will see that you have the same experience as the employee. On top of that, you also got a notification over here which says Abigail has requested a vacation time off for 3 days because she wants to go road tripping with her friends. Great. Before I approve the leave, I want to make sure we have ample coverage in the team. This is where the team calendar we talked about comes in really handy. So I go to the time off tab, I go into team calendar view, and because I'm looking at it far out, this is my weekly view. And just like now, I had submitted leave for today. You see those pending leave requests are showing here. I will flip over to the monthly view here, and you can see this was the leave request I just submitted. This is the one for the current one. And this leave request submitted for April. Okay, so I see over here, Abigail wants to take time off on these 3 days. I don't see anyone else in my team taking time off. So I see no reason why Abigail should not be able to take time off here. So I will come back here. Enjoy the sunny weather. I'll add an optional note for Abigail and just approve the request right from this view. In this case here. And you will see the leave request has been approved. I also see a sick leave request came in from Abigail. And I can add my note. In this case, I've also approved the other leave coming in from Abigail here. So let's make sure this goes through. There you go. So the manager is also able to quickly view their team calendar and also was able to approve the leave request from this chat experience here. Now let's go back and see what Abigail is seeing in her view. Like I said, it takes a few minutes, depending on how your business processes are running in your Dynamics for human resources instance, it could take a few minutes for the notifications to come in. However, to confirm the other side, you can always go into your time off tab, see the leave requests that were approved earlier. And here you see this was the one which I had submitted and the leave request has been approved. The next thing I see over here is my sick leave and it should be approved as well. Today is 27th. And there you say it says the leave request has been approved and it's an upcoming leave as it shows over here. While I wait for the notification to come in, I want to show how you can send in how you can share a leave request with your other peers. So here I'm chatting with a peer of mine. I come into the chat. Oh, before we go do that, there's a notification which has popped up now, which says, yay, my vacation request is approved. I see the note coming in from manager as well. So we're all set. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure I share this leave request with one of my peers. I go into the Teams chat with that person. I click on an icon that says Dynamics 365 Human Resources. And let's pick up the one from April. This is the vacation timeline. And with that, I have just quickly shared my leave request with my peer as well. So what we have gone through just now is an end-to-end experience of how an employee can interact with the chatbot to view balances or request time off, how we can utilize the detailed view on the time off tab, how a manager receives a notification of a new leave request, how they can quickly approve it, and how to kind of wrap up the entire process, an employee getting the notification of an approved leave request, and lastly, be able to share that leave request with one of their peers. So that was a demo we had. The next thing I would go into is some of the frequently asked questions that we usually get for the app so far. It's not on the slide right now, but let me start with this one. The first question and the most asked question right now is, when is this app going into general availability? So kind of be completely transparent on that. We are planning to be generally available, hopefully sometime in February. We are working through some accessibility bugs. We want to ensure the day we launch the app is usable and accessible for all our users alike. So we want to make sure we launch the app the day we have the all clear there. So you will see a notification coming in from us. So in case you are in our Yammer forums or look at like blog posts coming in from our team, just keep a close eye. We hope to really be GA very soon here. Let's talk about a few other questions that you might face while you're using the Teams experience. The first thing I've heard people say is we're unable to find that app in a Microsoft Teams App Store. Sometimes what happens is in your Teams admin, your team tenant, it's possible your Microsoft Teams admin may have disabled some apps from being viewed by employees. So in case you're unable to find the app in your instance of Microsoft Teams App Store, you might want to reach out to your Teams admin and just let them know this is the app which is not showing up, and just kind of troubleshoot with them if that app was indeed blocked from usage. And you can enable the app, and that we should be able to search for it in the Teams App Store. The second thing it says is you're unable to sign into the Microsoft Teams app for Dynamics for Human Resources app in Microsoft Teams. It's possible that when you're trying to sign in to your AAD credentials, you don't have an employee record in Dynamics 365 Human Resources for the same AAD credentials. In this case, you can contact your Dynamics 365 Human Resources System Administrator and have them link an existing employee record to that AAD credential. And that way, once you kind of come back to your Teams app, you should be able to log in and use the capabilities in here. The next issue which may happen sometimes is you're not receiving the notifications in the Teams app. For that, there could be a couple of possible reasons. Like we talked about in the beginning of the presentation here, there are a couple of notification configurations you want to turn on as the administrator or under user options. You might want to check that. It's also possible sometimes that one of the business events called as business events batch processor might be in a stuck state for your environment. If that's the case, please contact us via support channels and we can troubleshoot and have you be unblocked going forward there. Lastly, it's possible you have the manager role, you do have direct reports, but you're not able to see the team calendar for your direct reports. In this case, please work with your Dynamics 365 Human Resources System Administrator and just have them enable leave and absence calendar in Teams via the feature management experience that you have. So these were some of the other questions we have heard in the past. So if you encounter more, please feel free to kind of use the existing forums to ask us those questions. Talking about the roadmap, where do we go from here? And things that we talk about on this slide are all subject to change. They can change depending on how we discover things going forward. Like we said, number one thing in our roadmap right now is taking this app into general availability mode, and we hope to do it sometime in the next month as soon as we have an all clear from all our accessibility bugs. We do want to enhance the existing set of leave and absence capabilities that you saw in the app, and the folks who are very familiar with our existing experience in Dynamics 365 Human Resources, and you compare it to the capabilities available in the Teams app, there's a certain difference. We want to make sure an employee can use the Teams app as well as they use the other experience. So we want to bring both the experiences on par with each other. And that is something we hope to accomplish this year, this calendar year. The next thing is employees have a bunch of other tasks they may want to have, like they may want to complete. And our vision for the app going forward is we do want to see more employee self-service actions being brought to the existing Teams app, and that we hope to start working on like later this year or bring into the app at some point next year and onwards. Oh, thanks for the catch. February 2020 was last year. That's a typo I should have fixed. I'm really sorry about that one. It should be February 2021. I will fix the slides before they go out. A few documentation help resources that we have on the Microsoft Docs site. The first two links talk about how you can set up the app as an administrator, what are the capabilities for a user. You can always look into our release plan and see what the additional capabilities are for just not the Dynamics for Human Resources app for Microsoft Teams, but in general for Dynamics 365 Human Resources, what is a release plan? And we have our release plans publishing every 6 months, and we keep updating them as well. As always, we always welcome ideas from all our customers and end users, so please visit our ideas forum and submit any ideas you may want to see as feature requests for an app in the near future. And lastly, if you have any questions, here's my email address, and please feel free to reach out to me for any questions you may have. Before I kind of jump into this slide, I just want to talk about a few things I saw pop up on the Q&A. I saw a thing about mobile experience, and I should have covered this. So because we are based as a Microsoft team, app in Microsoft Teams itself, this is our mobile experience. So if you were a Teams user on your mobile phones, you would be able to launch the app. It's completely responsive, built inside Teams. So you should have no problems using the app in your mobile phone. So this app is completely usable across all platforms, both iOS and Android, or the web version of Microsoft Teams. So whichever platform device you are using today, you would be able to use the app in all those modes. Tina, at this point, I would just ask if there are any other questions you think we can take that you're hearing a lot from the chat, and we can kind of talk about them.
Calendar is something that I heard a lot.
Okay, so I'm assuming the questions around adding other capabilities in the calendar.
Teams view and supporting various calendars. I'm hearing an echo, sorry.
So I see a couple of questions on calendar here. So what we support today in the Teams calendar is, as a manager, we only show you the Teams calendar for your immediate direct reports and what their current status of leave request is. Like I said, one of the features we want to look at in the near future is bringing our Teams app experience at par with our core HR app itself. So that is on a roadmap, and we hope to bring in other capabilities where you can look at the company calendar. You can maybe look at under a specific manager for, say, an HR or a leave and absence coordinator. So those kinds of calendar views is something we are hoping to bring in the near future.
There were questions about customization, the bot, and just now for the app as well, if you want to address that.
Okay, at this point, we do not support any kind of customization. However, we do look for feedback in terms of, like I said, we were doing specific chat messages with the bot, like I want to take a specific leave request off. It is possible your employees are giving you the feedback of different kinds of messages they want to use. So in case you see there's a certain phrase that you or your users are trying to use, but they're not getting good results out of it, please send them over to us, and we can absolutely look at the phrase, evaluate, and kind of bring it as part of a product. Apart from that, we do not really support any kind of customization or personalization in our Teams app experience at the moment. I see a couple of questions around extending the current bot experience for other areas like courses, training, and benefits. This is where we hope we can add other employee self-service actions into our current Teams app ecosystem, and hopefully we'll work on that sometime next year onwards.
There were questions about licensing, and if they need separate licenses, or if you can talk a little bit about the Teams admin experience. How does one install this, and various ways in which someone can get this app?
Okay, let's talk about the licensing first. So in terms of licensing, any user who has a Dynamics 365 Human Resources license assigned to them, or a team member license, a team member license, and they have a Teams license also assigned to them. So once you have a basic team member license or Teams license, you should be able to log into the app, assuming you have an employee record associated with that specific AAD credential. In terms of finding the app, you can find the app in the App Store. Like I said over here, so let me go back here. And this is how you can simply find the app in your app store. I don't have the Teams admin experience over here right now, but in case you're not able to see the app, please reach out to your Teams administrator, and they should be able to see the app in their entire catalog of apps available for Microsoft Teams, and they should be able to enable it for your environment, either user by user or for the entire tenant, really. Okay. I guess that covers most of the questions that we got. And as always, if you have any feedback, please feel free to share it with us directly via email or use our public forums either in Yammer or otherwise to kind of share that with us. To wrap it up, if your presentation and the content, we have to make a couple of changes to the deck right now, but your recording and the content will be available to you after this webinar at the same registration link that you would have used to register for the webinar. You would also be sent, the information will also be sent to your registered emails in the next couple of days. We have a series of ongoing webinars from the Dynamics 365 team, which is called the FY21 Technical Readiness Webinar Series, and the link for that will be shared with you after the webinar as well. And go there and kind of look at any of the past events that you may have missed that you can kind of register and watch the recording for, and there are a few of them coming up as well. So please feel free to register for them. With that, thank you so much for your time this morning. Thanks from me, thanks from Tina. Thank you for your questions. Please feel free to use the app. It is available in preview, public preview mode today, so you should be able to install the app, play with it, have any feedback. The team is always looking for more feedback from more users. So thank you so much for your time this morning. Evan, over to you.
Awesome, thank you, Harsh. We would like to get your feedback on today's session. I've posted a link to a short survey in the Q&A panel. We value your feedback and welcome your input on how we did today and what you would like to see in future sessions. That survey scores on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score possible, and we thank you for your participation in that. As a reminder, attendees can access the web conference recording via the same registration link that was used to attend today's live broadcast. I'd like to extend a big thank you to our presenter Harsh, and a thank you to our audience for logging in and joining us today. Please stay safe and have a great rest of your day or evening wherever you are. Goodbye.